All right, welcome back. It's still Silver Birch today. And like I said earlier, we have a very important guest in the studio with me right now. And that's the person is not a new, is not a new person to the station already. All right, so our guest is not new to the house. Caroline Popola, an early year education leader with more than 2 decades of experience improving childcare quality, safeguarding workforce development and education governance across the United Kingdom. Her works has supported thousands of children, trained educators across 2 continents, and of course safeguarding education system for schools and childcare provider. So let's make welcome Caroline Popola.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
Oh my goodness, your aura is so beautiful and you look amazing.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now let's get into the
So do
conversation.
you.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Well,
so
should
much.
I say hello to you?
Yeah,
No, not again. It should
Hello
be to
again.
me. It should be to me, not to him. Okay, so now let's talk about the World Bank. You know, having to identify investment as, you know, investing in early childhood, like it's very important. They placed emphasis on that. Why do you think it's so important to invest early in childhood?
So I was saying earlier when I was on radio, I said I like the joke, right? So I actually looked it up because when I first heard it, that statement, I thought to myself, oh my goodness, here we go again. It's money, child, money. But then I think when you then look at what they mean by that, then you get it. So for example, 2 instances they're saying the reason. So it's not because a child equates to money, but they said for every dollar spent on a child, a country gets about $13 in returns. So when you're thinking the returns they're talking about is like if a child goes into school earlier, that means parents can be part of the workforce, which means money into the economy, right?
Yeah.
So the other thing they're saying is the fact that if a child went into school earlier, you lay a very good foundation at a very early stage, which meant later on in future, you're not having those remedial classes that you're having to pay for. So I was one of those remedial classes. So I drained Nigeria. And I'm thinking, does that mean they didn't lay a good foundation? I can't remember, but again, that's one of the reasons. And then things like health issues, because when they're in school, they're growing, their development and all of that stuff. So it's less pressure on the economy, which is money, you know, so to look after people and all that stuff. So that's what it is. So it makes sense. But I think for me, I agree with it. And we're still singing from the same hymn sheet, which is starting early with our children means starting right and getting this, I use the word wholesome adult, you know, this adult we want to look at that will be like us when they're in their late 20s and early 30s and all of that. It's all about laying the right foundation. And I'm glad that we're singing from the same hymn sheet and we're saying the same thing, different words for the same message.
Well, it's good we're not taking money out of the equation anyway.
Talking about foundation right now, so are we investing enough in children, or are we spending more fixing problems later?
Hey,
do you think we're actually investing enough in children?
You tell me. Yeah. You tell me. What do you think we're doing?
Okay.
Let's look at it this way. Lagos is flooded right now. Like I always say, we should have probably invested in preventing the flood rather than doing what we're doing right now. So I still feel education is the same thing that's happened. But I'd love to hear from your own perspective.
And that's what it is. Unfortunately, we are busy fixing. We're busy fixing. Like the conversation I had with you earlier. How would you have ever thought when you were little that a university student can use their friends for ritual? But these same people grew up with us, within our society, within the system that we have built. And I think my issue is we constantly blame the government. And I keep saying, we are the government. If we insisted for things to be standardized and policies to be standardized, where we're all having the same reporting process, if you see a child, a university child, that is behaving inappropriately, you would report it if you have a reporting process. Even if, let's say, they had friends and they bought all their friends, there would be one that would whistle blow. But we don't have a whistleblow system. And even if you whistle, they probably lock you out.
You'll be the first suspect.
So it's all about the system.
Yeah.
But we are the system, and we have to get to that stage where we're saying enough is enough. We need something standardized. And I mean, I was in Abuja yesterday, and I had so much excitement because I was part of a group of 4 other people or 5 other people with the TRCN, I think is the teachers, and they were developing curriculums for all of the different subjects, including early years, that would hopefully at some point soon become a national document, a standard document that every single school, both private and government, are using as a template.
Okay.
That's what we've been screaming for. This is what my 5 years has been about.
Hopefully, you said.
I can't even do that. I can't even do that.
Hopefully, you said.
I can't do that. I've got to hold on to it. Hold on to every little drips.
Exactly. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so,
I'm very optimistic on this one.
I mean, like, in the room, like, there was a lady from UNICEF, and she was there, and she's in charge of early years and stuff. And we both look at ourselves and, oh, I can't believe it's happening.
Can you imagine? So when Sugar made mention of flood, I'm like, oh my God, you finally mentioned the floodgate of Lekki and, the mainland and island all together. So now let's move to child learning and the safety, talking about safeguarding of children, considering different factors, variable factors that we're experiencing, particularly in my country, in our country, insecurity issue. We still have the incident of the Oyo abductees, and we're still asking where are the children? They're not out yet, and we're still hoping and praying that they are safe. So now what does safeguarding mean? And talking about this development is really going to affect a whole lot of things, particularly when we talk about insecurity. So what does it truly mean within context so that we can understand?
So in a simple layman's language, it's literally protecting anyone that is vulnerable. So it could be an older person that unfortunately, obviously, as they age, they've become childlike and all that. So it's protecting them. It's protecting children. It's protecting women. It's protecting men. So it's not a gender thing. It's protecting everyone to live in a safe environment, that you're free to verbalize and be yourself. You're free to present yourself whichever way you want without society telling you, how dare you wear something that is short. You called it upon yourself. Is a society, a space where an uncle, an auntie abused a boy or a girl, and if you can see what I'm doing here, it's not a sexist thing. As much as girls do it or men do it, which unfortunately is a lot more around men, it's the same thing around girls as well. Women do it. Women are coerced into being the tool they use to become the person they use in abducting these girls. Do you understand? So again, we have a lot of role to play. So what we're advocating for is the fact that we have, similar to what we're saying about the curriculum that is soon happening, that I'm putting smiles on my face, at the same time we need a framework of safety for all of us in Nigeria. One framework that we're all working towards as Nigerians, to say, if there's something that we suspect or something's inappropriate behavior, we would whistleblow. We would know the appropriate measures to go in having to talk about it. So then how could you say it's a crime to live in a safe space? How could you say it's not okay for you to feel confident to be in your home and an uncle comes in and they don't touch you? Like, come on, it's not standard.
Exactly.
However, we've turned the narrative into, oh yeah, it's done, big deal. No, it's not standard. It's not acceptable. Because then we're having to deal with adult traumas when they become adults. I mean, there's a pastor at the moment that I love to bits what he's doing with the male, which male don't have avenues in which they can talk, and he's doing a lot more. I don't want to talk about call his name, but I love what he's doing with the boys. Adult men, I call them boys. I love what he's doing with them, and you can see when you listen to their stories, the things they've been through as childhood. Why have we accepted that is a norm in our society? Why?
Now let's focus on education and national development right now. So northern Nigeria, where I come from, seems to have the highest number of out-of-school children. What I think the question already answers itself. So what long-term risk does this really pose to the entire thing?
Again, it falls back to, like you said, the question answers itself. And I don't want to, similar to not doing the sexist thing, I don't want to do the cultural thing. I don't want to do it. And I guess every culture is different. And this is the challenge we have as Nigerians, where because we have beautiful cultures, which is great, but we have different, we're all divided. We're not united. We're not doing things together. Because if we are, then we'll have this standard procedure that could be interpreted into the different languages, so everyone, even from grassroots, could understand the words and know what to do. So all of the stuff I'm advocating, even in terms of safety and safeguarding framework, I'm saying, look, once it's developed in our allegedly beautiful English, we can then subdivide it, the same words, but dilute it into the dialects that everyone in the grassroots can get it. So we're all still doing the same thing. But then I think this is where the cultural divide then comes in. Oh no, our culture says at the age of 12 you can get married. You're a child. So and this is where we have our cultural divides. And so we have got an issue in Nigeria. I'm sorry,
we need help. We need serious help.
And it's that thing where we need to get, and this is where politicians genuinely need to sit at the table with us and say, genuinely, what are the advantages of marrying a girl at 12? Like, come on.
Genuinely.
Come on. There's no way you cannot. So there's no benefit. So that means you're abusing a child. So that means, regardless of your culture or your background, if you have a bride at 12, we are going to be saying you're breaking the law. You're indecency with a child.
Honestly, as it should be in 2026, this conversation should have been long done with.
And we're still having the conversation now.
And I hope we'll have it in 2030.
And we're nowhere in terms of the conversation. We're nowhere yet.
Okay, looking at global best practices like all around the world, what implementation do you think Nigeria can adopt? Because Nigeria didn't come from heaven, didn't drop from the sky. We are the people, we are the Nigerians. So what measures do you think we can adopt like almost immediately to be able to curb some of these issues?
So I always say to any country, and largely because obviously I grew up in the UK, right? So the system's embedded in my brain, right? But for a global country, and if we want to be classed as the incredible country that we are, and I am so proud of being a Nigerian, I'm so proud of being a woman in Nigeria, we need to start to see what our global counterparts are doing. What are the things that are working? And come on, you have this outfit, you're looking so beautiful. I'm thinking she looks so skinny. If I think health-wise, I need to do the same. I would find out what you're doing. That means it's working. Same thing. This is us being very practical now. Find out. I remember when in the UK, our train system was just shambles, like our underground system. We had the mayor of New York came in to the UK and stayed with us for a long time, telling us, showing us how to make it work, because their one worked. What's wrong with us? Are we proud to actually learn from a good country that this thing is working in your country? How do you make it work? Let's do it. And I think for me, it's like if they have an invested interest, and I say they know who I'm talking about, the government. If they have an invested interest, so think about your grandchild, think about your children's children, and just think of the worst case scenario without these templates in place. The things that can happen to them, and then work back. You genuinely do not want it to happen. I use BVN as an example. Even last year when I came in, I use it. We all wanted a better Nigeria. Who would have thought we can have a Nigeria that we have data? Now, I mean, I never thought in my lifetime, right? But we do have it. And all of a sudden, you can't do a single thing in Nigeria without your BVN or NIM or whatever it is. Do you know? Same thing. If they have an invested interest, think about your grandchildren. Would you want them to go through, if they weren't born with a silver spoon in their mouth, and they have to go through the things like a normal standard Nigerian? I say normal because my daughter, I bring her to Nigeria for 2 weeks when I come for the program. And she's going, I can't wait to live in Nigeria. I say, the way you come is not Nigeria. The 2 weeks, if you come to real Nigeria, so, and that's it. So they should really think about the people in the grassroots. the people that are out of school that you're talking about. And if you can start from there, we want the best for them. How do we have the best for them? We need to see a country where it works, go and listen, sit down, see what frameworks they have that is working, and then bring that, interpret it to our own culture and our own system. That's it.
All right, so real quick, before you go, I just want to ask you this question.
Am I going already?
Funny how
don't want
time
you to
flies,
go.
so we're having fun. All right, so there's this news about the federal government planning to scrap GS and GSS and SS, you know, the separation over rising dropouts. I want to hear your thoughts on that real quick.
So GS is like the
junior secondary
school, and
and
then
then
the
SS is the senior
school.
So
secondary
why
school.
did we? Because I remember when I went to school, when I did secondary, we weren't doing that. We just did the one like from year 1 to year 5. Is that what we call it? Do we call it year 1 to year
No,
5?
but
Yeah, maybe then.
That was
but
then. Now all we have is
Hey, don't
We have the
me
junior
old.
now we have a junior secondary school.
Yeah. So why did we scrap it? And I mean,
Government policies. Yeah.
So I'm going to try not to be controversial here.
Yeah.
Why are we changing it? Why are we changing it? What is the reason? Is that for
overrising
somebody else?
overrising dropouts, according to them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think, and again, this is where if we have the right foundations and you have these people being able to read and write by the age of 5 and 6, I think we would not have the problem we're trying to fix now. So again, let's lay a good foundation. Once we've laid a good foundation and they're able to, honestly, there is no child that cannot read and write. Because even if they can't, which the way they learn is so simple, so skilled. That's why not even every teacher can be an early years teacher. It's so skilled, they know you personally, they know your learning style, they know your interests. So by knowing your interests, if I do what you like and you're learning through the things you like, you would know the stuff, you would learn. So by the time you're 6, you do know your stuff, you know your vocabulary, you have your words, and you can write. It might not be the best handwriting, but you would write. So we're then not fixing problems that we're fixing in year 12, year 13, when we're supposed to have fixed it when they were like in year 5, year 2, year 3. And that's what it is. So all the dropouts, can you imagine having your 7-year-old niece or nephew in a class with a 16-year-old? I mean, please, come on. And this is where we find ourselves at the moment, where you have a 16-year-old in a junior class, they can't read and write.
All right, I want to say thank you very much for stopping by. It would be nice to have you again. Maybe we can have a brother conversation.
So every time I go on any screen, I'm thinking, you sure you don't need a third wheel? Like, you know, 3 of us.
All right, so nice having you. So every great nation was once a classroom. Of course, every leader was once a child. And if we want a different Nigeria tomorrow, perhaps the most important place to begin is where every future begins, with the child. All right, that's where we draw the curtains in this segment. We'll be right back. And if you are in the business of aspiration, get ready. We've got another interesting guest for you to actually put you through all of this right now. We'll be right back.